To many, this time of year seems like time for football, but for me and resident expert Paulo De La Feld, it's all about international golf. The Ryder Cup starts this week, and the guys from the United States are taking on the lads from across the pond. This time it's at Celtic Manor in Wales. But Paulo, is there really any sort of home field advantage in golf? Is that a myth, or is it true?
I think, like in any sport, there's always home field advantage. Especially last year, 2008, when I watched the Ryder Cup, I was stressed out seeing the crowds cheering as Anthony Kim and Boo Weekley were like pumping them up.
Sure.
As a fan on TV, I was like, I wanted to go out there and punch them. And like, I'm sure the players on the European team were like finding it hard to like concentrate or like be able to execute with all these people rooting against them.
You know, I don't know. I think there's such thing as a home field disadvantage, just because, as we were talking before, there's so much pressure on these guys from Europe.
Yeah.
They are far and away the favorites, and it's in Europe, so it's a big deal to them. I think it may weigh them down a little bit. But as we look at these players, I want to know who's really going to perform. Probably who's the best player for both USA and Europe. If you could kind of
Sure. For the European squad, I see Martin Keimer, the German.
Sure, yeah. PGA champion.
He's making his debut in the Ryder Cup. He's had three wins this year. He's been playing regularly, number 5 in the world, if I'm not mistaken. He won at the US PGA Championship. He's bringing a good quality of golf, and I really look at him leading the Europeans.
Sure. Well, who do you have for the USA?
And for USA, I have Dustin Johnson. Even though I didn't hear about him at the beginning of the year, but
great player.
Great player. He's been finished 5th in the FedEx Cup. 2 wins, 7 top 10 finishes. It's a pretty good record coming in.
You know, my guy for the USA can almost hit it as far as Dustin Johnson, maybe a little shorter, but Bubba Watson is his name. He's an inconsistent guy. He hits it a mile, but I'm telling you, this is going to wear down on this match play. If he can hit it as far as he can, if he can get up and down from everywhere like he tends to do, I think it could really wear on the other guy's nerves. Yeah. And another guy that can wear on your nerves for Europe is an absolute grinder, Padraig Harrington. We've heard about him. He's multi-major winner. He's a great player.
He's coming off kind of a drought, not winning for a good while now, but he's always important to have a player like Padraig Harrington.
It's a drought, but you know, he makes par from difficult places. I think that's really going to pay off in match play and when he's playing with someone else. But he's one of the more experienced guys. He's someone you can count on. But there happens to be a lot of youth in this Ryder Cup. Tell me about the youth, and would you take it over some of the experienced guys?
Well, I think, as you were talking before with the youth, Rory McIlroy, definitely a player to look out for the European squad.
He won 21.
a Hala this year, 21. He has two second place or 2 top 10 finishes in the majors this year. And also at other players that are making their debut, Martin Keimer, Francesco, and Eduardo Molinari, the first 2 brothers to make it since 1963. They might be the players to actually come out over Luke Donald, Padraig Harrington, Ian Poulter, or Lee Westwood that do have the experience, but maybe youth will prevail.
Now all those guys, and both teams are youthful. Both the USA and Europe have young guys making their debut. I happen to like the experience just because it is that treacherous situation we had talked about. It's one of those things where I think the experience prevails because it's going to come down to the last putt, last hole, and the guy who's done it before will do it.
Probably.
But when that happens, I'm trying to see, and I think I have an idea where you're leaning. I may be leaning the same way, but who in the end wins this thing? Who takes it?
Well, I have to go with the Europeans. On the card, on the paper, they have the best team. They've played courses like this week in, week out. They've played Celtic Manor before.
Okay.
I think it's a lot of accuracy over, like, as you were mentioning Bubba Watson before. Big hitter, but can he keep it in the middle?
Sure.
Home court advantage, as I said before, and one of the key factors I want to look at is the double pairings.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have Francesco and Eduardo.
Yeah, you got brothers.
Brothers that they fit each other perfectly. Eduardo, a good around the green player. Francesco, excellent ball striker. Finished first in the Mission Hills World Cup. Graham McDowell and Rory McIlroy finished second. So it's a great two doubles teams.
You know what? I was leaning towards Europe, but you didn't convince me enough. I'm talking home field disadvantage. I think the pressure gets to Europe. USA has a lot of streaky guys, but I think the planets align. These guys put it all together. Streaky guys will all play well. USA wins in an unexpected, huge upset. Europe thinks they got this in the bag. No way. No. USA. We've got to step away for a moment, but when we come back, Christian will be joined by a couple of guys who have some interesting views on the young NFL season. I guess they'll talk about Michael Vick a little bit. When One-on-One returns, we'll be back right after this.
Here at One-on-One Sports, we were having some problems with organization, so we decided to bring in Elon Club baseball pitcher Aaron Mosier to help us out.
It's not working. Hey, can we get him another mic?
Hey, Aaron, grab me that mic.
We're gonna need another mic.